It is not an easy thing to be the son of the man who is believed by many to be the founder of your nation, who built a tiny vassal kingdom into the biggest empire the world had ever known up to that point, and who was named the Lord's Anointed by the original writers of the Hebrew Bible. It is said that this event took place in Iran during the reign of Cambyses II, son of Cyrus the Great, under the Achaemenid dynasty. Welcome to Royalty Stories channel. At this time, Cyrus the Great's son ruled the country. Is this what really took place, or were the Greeks and Romans only attempting to tarnish his name based on the tales they heard from people who were sick of the Persians' hegemony over their countries? He was a noble man who made the ultimate sacrifice when he tried to negotiate with the Central Asian tribes who threatened the northeastern frontier of his dominion by offering himself as a hostage. It is important to pay more attention to him in order to discover the name of his son and the apparent successor to his estate. Yet, before he was successful in this endeavor, he established the Persian Empire as the largest and most powerful in the world, which brought a hitherto obscure and disadvantaged people to the forefront of history. In spite of the fact that he required support from a powerful military group to do so, he was successful in achieving his objective. After being brought under his rule, the defeated kingdoms mostly resumed their previous methods of operation. The only significant change was that the vanquished nations were now obligated to pay taxes to the Persian monarch. His strategies of conquest and administration were quite different from those of his predecessors in both principle and practice. Cambyses, Cyrus's eldest son and his father's intended successor, succeeded his father as king of the world after Cyrus's death. The ancient Egyptians called him by such name, despite the fact that the Greeks used the word Cambyses in their language. Cyrus's ultimate goal was to dominate all of Egypt, regardless of the successes he had against Lycia and Babylon. He achieved both of those goals. Cambyses was successful in his conquest of Egypt despite the fact that he never really fought a single Egyptian. There was a period when these three countries worked together to stop him from achieving his goals. There is a good chance that the Persian and Median soldiers stationed at Cambyses made substantial attempts to adapt to life in Egypt. It is said that the most skilled Greek mercenaries responded to his call to arms and joined the battle. In order to successfully navigate the difficult desert and enter Egypt, the Persians collaborated with the Arabs and other surrounding tribes to arrange their journey. In addition to collaborating with tribes outside Egypt, he also cooperated with some loyal tribes inside Egypt. According to Herodotus, the purpose of the second large-scale expedition that was sent to the region was to conquer both the Kingdom of Kush and the Kingdom of Nubia. In contrast to the well-planned journey over the Nile, this was an extraordinarily costly endeavor. According to mythology, when food and supplies ran out and the situation grew too horrible for them to continue fighting, some of Cambyses' Persian troops resorted to cannibalism. Yet, there are several documented stated that seem to contradict this and imply that Cambyses may have left a garrison in the area. These texts suggest that Cambyses may have occupied the territory. According to these sources, it appears that Cambyses may have left a garrison in the area. According to Strabo, a Greek geographer and historian, after Cambyses eventually won the battle for Egypt, he led the Egyptians on a march all the way to Mari. The knowledge was gleaned from historical sources known as Strabo's writings, which are where the information originated. According to the local folklore, Cambyses honored his late sister Merowe by naming both the island and the city that serves as its capital after her. It is believed that these words were the inspiration for the names of both the island and the city. For hundreds of years, Merowe served as the political and cultural hub of the Cushitic monarchy and empire. Merowe was also the seat of Cushitic royalty. It is suggested that there was at least some success and maybe a Persia presence in Kush in the 1st century BC, which goes against Herodotus' allegation that an attempt to capture Kush was a total and utter failure. We are not convinced by the assertion of the ancient Greek historian Theodore that King Cambyses II was responsible for the establishment of Meroe. While speaking about Cambyses' mental condition, Herodotus is straightforward and utilizes terminology that is easy to understand. Our conclusion, based on the evidence at hand, is that Cambyses has been subject to a considerable amount of evolution. According to the legend, Cambyses was born with the holy sickness, which has the potential to be fatal. But, the possibility that everyone who has ever suffered from a severe mental illness has also suffered from a catastrophic physical ailment is not completely out of the question. While Cambyses was pharaoh of Egypt, Herodotus claims he was responsible for a great deal of evil throughout his reign. His deeds included the destruction of temples, the summary execution of priests without regard to the religions they practiced, and a general disregard for the religious rites and practices of the new people. Cambyses was the one responsible for the most severe of these crimes, which was the slicing of the sacred Apis bull. The ancient Egyptians had the belief that the holy Apis bull was really the deity Ptah, whom they honored and revered as their patron saint of artists. Cambyses managed to cut through the holy Apis bull. Upon Cambyses' return to Memphis following his travels, the Egyptians received a sudden and deep understanding into a vital feature of Apis, which they had previously been unaware of. As the Egyptians found out about the upcoming festival, they wasted no time in beginning to get ready for it. Cambyses was under the impression that the Egyptians were rejoicing after their devastating military defeat when he saw them drinking, so he called a meeting of the governors of Memphis in order to resolve the problem. In the end, it was shown that Cambyses had been accurate all along. Since Cambyses' army was so poorly led, Egypt was able to successfully capture Memphis. Herodotus suggests that Cambyses engaged in barbaric behavior after the advent of their invaders. However, this may or may not have been the case. It should come as no surprise that many of Herodotus' Egyptian sources would have had some bias, given that Egyptians are well known for being extremely proud and historically xenophobic people. Many Egyptians undoubtedly would have detested living under Uja-Haresnet. According to the translated inscription that praises the Persian King of Kings should be interpreted. The sentence describes the Persian King of Kings as the greatest ruler in any and all far territories and any and all distant possessions. As he became more well known in Egypt, he quickly rose through the political ranks and began consolidating his hold on power. Cambyses was not only a magnificent ruler in Egypt, but he also reigned with an iron grip over all of Egypt's surrounding territories. I wrote his titulary at the period when he ruled as king of both Upper and Lower Egypt at the same time. After arriving, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt made his way personally to the temple of Nephthys. There, he hit the ground in front of her very great majesty as a sign of the deepest humility and reverence, as was the norm for all kings who came before him. It was now possible for the Egyptian monarch to have power over the whole kingdom, including the Nile Delta. Then he greeted the Big One, the Mother of God, and the other great gods who had arrived to his enormous feast, which was filled with every possible beauty. Cambyses was surely extremely respectful towards the goddess Neith, which roughly translates to, "His Majesty granted me to the rank of Chief Ujahorsnet," and that he also carried out his vital tasks as pharaoh in regard to the Temple of the Divine. This sequence of events takes place in a very different order from what Herodotus describes taking place. The king of Upper and Lower Egypt, son of Isis, erected a stunning granite coffin for his father, Apis, and etched on it were the words, "To my father, Apis, I have made a wonderful monument." Apis was the name of the monarch's father. A limestone stele found near the tomb of the Apis bull confirms this. In honor of his late father, Apis Osiris, Cambyses crafted a magnificent coffin out of stone as a memorial for him. There is a possibility that the Apis bull, which claims that Cambyses was the real architect behind this amazing structure, is a fraud as well. I want God to bless him with a long and healthy life, one that is rich in love and abundant in good fortune. The first stone of the sarcophagus foundation was set by the son of Ra Cambyses, who ruled both Upper and Lower Egypt at the time. I hope he has the healthiest and most successful life that I can summon for him. This inscription, along with others that reference the Apis bull, adds to the shards of evidence that imply Cambyses was not as cruel as Herodotus and others may have portrayed him out to be in their accounts of his reign. It would seem that Cambyses continued in his father's footsteps with regard to respecting the right to religious freedom of the peoples who were subjugated as well as their own cultural heritage. The conduct of Cambyses was more like to that of his father Cyrus the Great, especially in terms of the religious convictions that they both had in common. The possibility that the future king Darius the Great was involved in the assassination of Cambyses II is one of the biggest mysteries and most contentious debates in the annals of ancient history. For more information about Persian Empire's history, please visit our channel and don't miss the episode of Darius the Great. You can find it on the top of this video. Clicking the like is not only helpful to the channel, it will give us a great support to continue in this channel. Follow Royalty Stories on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to keep up to watch our upcoming episodes. Please take care and stay safe until the next episode. Thank you once again for your assistance, and I'll see you around.